Global's Ryansang joins us now from the newsroom with the latest details. Ryan.
Good morning. People living in 13 households near the fire are likely very nervous at this hour. They are on evacuation alert and need to be ready to leave on very short notice if required. Though the fire is not posing an immediate danger to homes, it is 0% contained. The fire was sparked on Monday by lightning, and it's been really tough for firefighters to gain the upper hand. The weather and heat certainly not helping, and the fire is burning on a very steep slope, making it quite literally an uphill battle. Despite all the snow, people are still moving to Prince George. In 2011, the population was about 72,000. Now it's standing at about 76,000. And a big reason? Because the lifestyle is simply more affordable. Whiteside sat in the prisoner's box wearing a black t-shirt, at times staring at the floor. But he began to look a little uncomfortable when the Crown read the victim impact statement from Gupta's family. As Crown lawyer Wendy Dawson read the words from Gupta's parents, she couldn't hold back her own emotions and began to cry. Now, if you do need to go across the border, be sure to pack a lot of patience, because once you're in this lineup, it's not exactly easy to turn around and go home. So once you're in line, you are going to the States, and it is going to take you a while. So what kind of a prank could this possibly be? Well, no one can say for certain, but it might have something to do with getting married. Now, firing Webster doesn't come cheap. Taxpayers will be on the hook to pay his severance, which is believed to be about $500,000. His contract was supposed to end next year, and that was when he had planned to retire, Leslie. Inside the University Avenue courthouse behind me, lawyers and a judge were trying to determine a punishment for Melissa Alexander. Arguments did wrap up today, and now the judge is tasked with making a decision, and in it, she'll have to consider this. This is Alexander's psychiatric assessment, and the judge will have to take into account what doctors found. But Giusechetti disputes that, saying he actually got 54% of the vote, and he's effectively declared himself president. These protesters agree. Well, I'm standing in the northwest part of town in an area where there are more than a dozen trailer homes. I've been told this area was hit the hardest. Now, just to give you some perspective, I stand at 5 feet 8 inches tall, and as you can see over here, the lines indicate that the water went well above my head, so it's no surprise that the flood left everyone who lives in this trailer park homeless.
Give Zoe a little kiss.
Adored by her family, 5-month-old Zoe Auger, like any child, is special. But the little girl faces big challenges ahead.
Anytime something, your baby's not perfectly healthy, it's scary and overwhelming.
Zoe was born with phenylketonuria, known as PKU. It prevents her body from breaking down a basic building block of protein called phenylalanine, or Phe for short. As a result, every day her parents feed her this special synthetic Phe-free protein drink. Her condition easy to manage now, but
as she hits adolescence, if she decides to go against it or decides to try different foods because she doesn't trust that it's going to hurt her, that's what gives us a little bit of fear.
Phe is found in almost everything we eat, higher amounts of it in meats. And if those with PKU eat too much of it, over time, Phe levels in the bloodstream rise. The effects irreversible.
It's toxic to the brain, so without treatment, we see serious consequences, including mental retardation.
Now, a new medication called Kuvan is said to help reduce Phe levels, but it's very expensive, costing tens of thousands of dollars a year per patient. For Vancouver resident Ian Connor, it's frustrating to know Kuvan is approved for funding only in Ontario.
It would free up my diet and let me eat more protein than I can eat now, because I can only have 10 grams a day.
But experts who study funding policies for treatment of rare diseases say provincial governments are also caught between a rock and a hard place.
When they make the decisions around these expensive drugs for rare diseases, they're not making them in isolation, but they do have to consider the other components that are competing for that same budget.
Still, Connor and the Augers want Kuvan to be funded across the country. They know it's expensive, but for them to eat without fear of harming themselves, well, there is no price tag on that. Ryansang, Global News, Vancouver. They are small in numbers, but their determination is strong. Today, friends and family of an elderly man are posting flyers in a desperate search to find 80-year-old Sheng Yun Song.
You can give us a 10 and clue.
Clark Song is the missing man's son, telling us he and his mother are extremely worried for his dad's safety.
She just cried this morning. We try to give them some hope. He's getting old, so yeah, sometimes he felt he has some issue with the leg, with the waist.
Song's wife was the last to see him on Thursday morning at their son's Langley home. Just after 11 a.m., he told her he was going for a walk. When he didn't return hours later, the family called 911.
These folks from Central Valley Search and Rescue have been combing the area, all the parks from here north, and we've been utilizing virtually every means you can imagine.
There's a footpath, just walk that footpath.
With maps out, the mission to find Song continues today. Near a command post in Walnut Grove, search and rescue teams gear up and fan out. Teams out in full force, scouring the area for any sign of the elderly man. RCMP believes Song was likely going west towards Surrey or north toward Maple Ridge, because in the past he had expressed that he wanted to go to the mountains on foot.
My dad is a little bit romantic, so he probably will achieve the goal by himself.
The 80-year-old man is described as Asian with balding white hair, standing at 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 147 pounds. He was last seen wearing a blue puffy jacket and brown shoes with a white stripe. As the search today expands, so too does the anxiety over Song's well-being. The nights have been cold and he doesn't speak a word of English. The public is being asked to be on the lookout to help bring him home to his family.
We pray to the God, and God will help us.
Ryansang, Global News. Stretcher after stretcher after stretcher. These exclusive pictures tell a story of 7 people whose lives have been changed forever. This upside-down Dodge Caliber with 4 people inside and a family, a mother, father, and 2-year-old son in what used to be a Kia sedan. This man was one of the first to get here. What was going through your head when you first came across the scene?
This is bad. I heard someone screaming. I came rushing to the scene right away.
And what did you do?
I asked if everyone was okay, if anyone needed anything. I gave my jacket to the people that were lying on the ground.
The crash happened early Sunday morning at around 3:30. Those in the Dodge escaped with minor injuries. Father and son in the Kia, however, were found on the ground. Mom was still inside. The boy now in serious but stable condition.
Mom has since been to hospital and released, and she's with her son right now.
Physically, she'll be okay. Mentally, she deals with this, that nothing could be done to save her partner. He later died in hospital. Police say at the time the boy was properly secured into the child car seat while the father was wearing a seatbelt. But despite those efforts, both were still thrown from the car. Giving you an idea of just how violent this crash was. The driver of the Dodge Caliber, 20-year-old Darren Millett, faces a slew of charges, including impaired driving causing death and criminal negligence causing death. He makes a court appearance tomorrow.
Knowing what happened, it really made me sick. And it still does.
The incident has left safety advocates reminding everyone to avoid drinking and driving, especially during this time of year.
It's a significantly increased tragedy when there's 2 other people in the car that could have said, turn the car off and stop driving.
At this point, the accident is still under investigation, as police have answers to figure out. A father is gone, and a mother and son will too have to figure out how they'll move on without him. Ryansang, Global News.
Well, when you're looking for something cheap these days, most people go online. But in small towns, there's still another way to hear about a deal. Global's Ryansang found plenty of bargains.
And good morning once again. Welcome to Tradio, your opportunity to buy, sell, and trade those household items.
Between 11:30 a.m. and noon, Monday to Friday, it's time for one of Weyburn, Saskatchewan's favorite shows. Listeners phone in, advertising items to sell, buy, or trade. So it's no surprise this radio show is called
Tradio. Tradio. Hi there, Tradio.
Tradio.
Hi, Tradio.
Hi, I'm looking for a portable air conditioner.
You name it.
Microwave oven. A horse trailer, picnic table.
They've sold it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Or at least have tried to.
Everything from leftover margarine containers to we've had people looking for dates to rides across the country.
Calls have slowed down over the years. People are turning more to online sites to sell their goods. But for Garth White, Tradio sure beats an online garage sale. Just listen to what he sold.
Swing set, tires complete with rims, a lawnmower, a good used fridge in good working order, a power washer, a 1961 Plymouth car. So I've sold many items, more than that I can't remember of, I guess.
You've never heard of Craigslist and Kijiji, is that right?
I can't say that I have.
And neither has Izela Getsky,
12-horse MTD.
who called in today to get rid of this lawn tractor.
You often hear the same numbers over and over every day. People are calling in, and you kind of get to recognize the voices.
I have a green easy chair recliner that's in good shape.
For some, there is a sense of security in hearing another human's voice selling it versus, there is always a little bit of fear of online purchases.
And as long as there are buyers and sellers in this community, listeners will keep dialing in like they have for the past 40 years.
And that's it. That's all the time we have today for
Ryan Sang, Global News, Weyburn, Saskatchewan.